If you guys can hear me, please type in yes in the chat window for the confirmation. Mr. Ravinder, Rajesh, Pankaj, Jay, Adnan. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Rajesh. Thank you, Jay. Well, in the last session, we discussed about what is SAP HANA, the basics of SAP HANA, HANA product strategy, and what are the different editions in which HANA is available. Up to HANA 1.0 with support pack 3, HANA can be used as a data mart. First of all, what is the purpose? Why we required SAP HANA? Where SAP positioned SAP HANA as a solution for the big data, we can use HANA as a underlying database for BW 7.3 with support pack 5 or higher to accelerate BW performance. So what are the different editions in which HANA is available, like platform editions, enterprise edition, extended enterprise edition. So what are the different components which comes along with these editions? Then what is the product strategy of SAP HANA in future version, that is HANA 1.0 in support pack 2? How HANA can fully leverage new hardware technology innovations, new software technology innovations, okay? And what is the product availability matrix of SAP HANA from different certified vendors like HP, Dell, Fujitsu. So all these basic concepts we discussed. Today our class agenda is SAP HANA Studio. So if you look at any one of these editions, SAP HANA, in Enterprise Edition or in Platform Edition or in Extended Enterprise Edition, after SAP HANA database, IMC, which is in-memory computing engine, current version is 1.0 with support pack 7. There is one more component, very important component is SAP HANA Studio. So today's our class agenda is SAP HANA Studio. So what is SAP HANA Studio? How we can use this SAP HANA Studio in SAP HANA project for administration, for development, for application development, for modeling, okay, for different types of activities. Well, if you guys are aware of SQL Server database, this is a SQL Server database engine. Microsoft has given a client tool. The name of the client tool is SQL Server Management Studio. So what is the purpose of this SQL Server Management Studio, my friends? The purpose of this SQL Server Management Studio is, using this SQL Server Management Studio, we can connect to SAP SQL Server database in order to perform administration related activities like SQL Server DBS will use this SQL Server Management Studio. SQL Server database developers, okay, to create the tables, to create the stored procedures in order to perform different types of database related activities. So this is the SQL Server Management Studio. This is a client tool. Using this client tool, I connected to the SQL Server database engine. These are database engine, SQL Server database server. So once I connected to this SQL Server database server using this client tool, which is a SQL Server Management Studio, I can perform database administration related activities like SQL Server DBS will use this tool, as well as the database developers also can use this tool for development related activities like creating the stored procedures, creating the tables for other development related activities. In the same way, the way how we have SQL Server Management Studio, a client tool to connect to the SQL Server database, SAP has given a client tool to connect to SAP HANA in-memory database. SAP HANA IMC for different types of, in order to perform different types of activities. The activities related to administration, activities related to application development using SAP HANA, activities related to modeling, like this. So we'll see more details about SAP HANA Studio, the look and feel of SAP HANA Studio, and what are the different perspectives in which this HANA Studio can be launched, and in which perspective, so what type of activities can be performed. And as a HANA consultant working in a project, maybe the project is HANA as a data mart and HANA as an underlying database for BW 7.3 with Service Pack 5 or higher. You're supposed to have very good knowledge of, good understanding, working experience with SAP HANA Studio, using this client tool, how to connect to HANA IMC in order to perform various types of activities. So this is our class agenda today, SAP HANA Studio. You are a consultant at a client site and need to launch SAP HANA Studio for the first time. Well, you are a SAP HANA consultant working in a client site who is implementing SAP HANA. HANA as a data mart or HANA as an underlying database for BW 7.3 with Service Pack 5 or higher, or BW 7.4 with Service Pack 5, whatever. You need to add the customer's SAP HANA instance to your Studio installation so that you can work on the server and create new delivery unit and packages for your information models. As a SAP HANA consultant working in the project, you're supposed to know how to launch SAP HANA Studio, how to add the system to SAP HANA Studio, system in the sense HANA IMC, in-memory computing engine, and how we can launch this SAP HANA Studio in various perspectives. You're supposed to know all these things. So this is a welcome screen of SAP HANA Studio. So whenever we are launching SAP HANA Studio, this is a welcome screen. So in this welcome screen, there are different perspectives in which the HANA Studio can be launched. Before starting SAP HANA Studio, first of all, what exactly this SAP HANA Studio? In which technology this SAP HANA Studio, the client tool, has been designed? SAP HANA Studio is delivered in SAP HANA appliance. If you look at this SAP HANA appliance, in any edition, that can be a platform edition, that can be a enterprise edition, that can be extended enterprise edition. Any one of these editions, you can see the component, very important component, SAP HANA Studio. One of the component is SAP HANA Studio. So SAP HANA Studio is delivered in SAP HANA appliance and provides an environment for administration, modeling, development, and data provisioning. It can be installed on your local client machine, and you can connect your IMC using this client tool. Well, SAP HANA Studio is a technology designed in Java based application. Basically it's a Java Eclipse based application. So in which technology that this client tool has been designed? The technology used in this client tool is SAP HANA, Java Eclipse based application, Java Eclipse based platform. Let me show you. So once you log into your remote desktop, you will see this SAP HANA Studio or Start, because we already installed this client tool in this RDP. SAP HANA Studio are all programs, SAP HANA. This is the client tool, SAP HANA Studio. You can right click, create a shortcut on your desktop. At one point of time, we can launch only one session of SAP HANA Studio. Now, if you look at this, I already launched this SAP HANA Studio. I'm trying to launch one more session of this SAP HANA Studio. So what is the message I got? The error message: could not launch the product because the associated workspace is currently in use by another Eclipse application. This is SAP HANA Studio. This is a welcome screen of SAP HANA Studio. See, this is a welcome screen of SAP HANA Studio. Now, in the welcome screen of SAP HANA Studio, you can decide in which perspective you want to launch this SAP HANA Studio. Then what is a perspective? We need to have a clear understanding of what is a perspective. Okay, this is a client, an enterprise who is implementing HANA project. In this project, there are different team members. First, HANA administrators, HANA molders, HANA developers, application developers, HANA data provisioning consultants, SAP HANA subject matter experts, HANA SMEs, and HANA business users. So whenever there are different people in this project in the client side or some other business people like business users, they want to use this SAP HANA, they want to connect to SAP HANA database. So whenever they want to connect to SAP HANA in-memory database, which is IMCE, what is the tool provided by SAP in order to connect to IMCE? SAP HANA Studio. So what is SAP HANA Studio, my friends? SAP HANA Studio is a client tool based on Java Eclipse based tool. Using this tool, we can add IMCE to this tool in order to perform various types of activities. Okay. A HANA administrator wants to connect to SAP HANA using SAP HANA Studio in order to perform more admin related activities, right? Because HANA administrator is, okay, the job of HANA administrator is more towards administration. Well, HANA molder, they want to use SAP HANA Studio in a specific perspective so that they can design the information models. They can create the information models. Okay, they have to launch SAP HANA Studio not in admin perspective, because they are nowhere related to administration activity. They are more responsible for modeling activities. So HANA application developers, they need HANA Studio in application development perspective. So different team members in the project, my friends, they want to launch SAP HANA Studio in various perspectives. So what exactly a perspective? When you start SAP HANA Studio for the first time, you can decide on several perspectives. These are called perspectives. What is a perspective? You can see modeler perspective, development perspective. Well, from support pack 6, they have given one more perspective, lifecycle management, see administration perspective. What is a perspective? A perspective are predefined user interface layouts or views for several application use. What is a perspective? A perspective is a predefined user interface of SAP HANA Studio for specific bunch of activities, for a specific set of activities. If I am launching SAP HANA Studio in admin perspective, this perspective is more towards the administration activities. If I am launching SAP HANA Studio in modeler perspective, this perspective, okay, more towards, okay, designing the information models and creating the information models. Like this, what is a perspective is? A perspective is a predefined user interface or views for several application use. So if you are launching SAP HANA Studio in admin perspective, so basically you want to use the SAP HANA Studio, the client tool, for administration purpose. That is a perspective. Well, there are different several perspectives which are available, so that in any one of these perspectives you can launch this SAP HANA Studio. Which perspective you have to launch SAP HANA Studio? It depends upon what is your role and responsibilities in SAP HANA project. Well, as a developer, as a modeler, I want to launch SAP HANA Studio in modeler perspective. As an administrator, I want to launch SAP HANA Studio in administration perspective. Development perspective. Once you launch SAP HANA Studio in a specific perspective, from this perspective you want to switch to another perspective. You don't have to go to again the welcome page. Every time, in order to switch from one perspective to another perspective, you don't have to go to the welcome page. See, once you are in the welcome page, once you selected the modeler perspective. Now, from modeler perspective, for some reason, you want to switch to admin perspective. In that case, again, do I need to go to welcome page? No. First of all, on the right hand side, on the upper corner, you can see whatever the perspectives that are recently launched. What are the perspectives in which this SAP HANA Studio recently launched? Just now, I opened this SAP HANA Studio in 3 perspectives. One is admin perspective, second one is modeler perspective, third one is development perspective. Well, in order to switch from one perspective to another perspective, from here you can switch. As of now, I am modeler perspective. You can see the modeler is highlighted. Admin perspective. Now you can see admin perspective is highlighted. Development perspective. Now you can see the development perspective is highlighted. Okay. Apart from these 3 perspectives, there are other perspectives. For example, LCM, lifecycle management perspective. So I did not open LCM. Still, from this admin perspective or HANA perspective, I want to launch LCM perspective. In that case, in SAP HANA Studio, on menu bar, click Windows, see Open Perspective. Click on Others. It will show you all other perspectives. Suppose I want to open SAP HANA Studio in lifecycle management perspective. See? So once you recently opened, you can see all the perspectives that are recently opened. You can see on top right hand side, upper corner of the right hand side. Okay. So from here also you can switch by going to the window, show the perspective, open perspective. From here also you can switch from one perspective to another perspective. Well, once you launched SAP HANA Studio in one perspective, that can be okay, admin perspective or modeler perspective. Let's start with admin perspective. Now I am in admin perspective. On the left hand side of SAP HANA Studio, this is called Navigator view. See, this part of SAP HANA Studio is called Navigator view. What is Navigator view? Why Navigator view is very important in SAP HANA Studio. So in any perspective, so you will get this Navigator view. Okay. What is this Navigator view? What we can do in this Navigator view? See, this is the Navigator view. In Navigator view, we will add SAP HANA IMCs because this is only client tool. Once you install the client tool, you don't find any system added here because I added a couple of systems. Once you install the tool, you don't find any systems initially added in this Navigator view. Now you can see the Navigator view is empty because this is only client tool just now we installed. So far we did not add any IMC. See, only the client tool is installed. To this client tool we did not add any IMC. How to add IMC? You can add in-memory computing engine only in the Navigator view of SAP HANA Studio. That is the reason Navigator view is very important. So how to add a system? A system here in the sense, a IMC, okay, in-memory database engine or in-memory database server. In order to add a IMC to the Navigator view, right click on Navigator view. Right click on Navigator view and we have an option of add the system. So we can add more than one system to SAP HANA Studio. This is SAP HANA Studio. It doesn't mean you can add only one IMC to SAP HANA Studio. No, you can add more than one IMC to SAP HANA Studio. For example, in a client landscape, we have HANA development environment, testing environment, and production environment. So you don't need 3 client tools to be installed. For one client tool, you can add these 3 HANA instances. You can add these 3 IMCs to one client tool. This is Navigator view. Just I'm giving a small example. Now, if you want to, whenever you have to add more than one system, you want to add the system in corresponding folders. Then before adding the system, you can create the folder first. Then under that folder, you can add a corresponding system in order to differentiate. It depends upon your convenience, how you want to add the systems. Well, I don't need any folders. I want to add 3 systems continuously. Well, you can go ahead and you can add. So I want to add 2 systems here. One is HANA Support Pack 6. Second one is HANA Support Pack 7. But I want to add those systems in corresponding folders. Then right click this folder add the system. So I'm adding IMCE. Well, it's not, yeah. So it depends upon the project, okay, how they want to set up, they can set up the environment. Yeah, if the client can afford multiple systems, then we can set up the environment. So how the client will set up the environment? So I will explain very clearly, okay, how the client will set up the environment, what is single node cluster, what is multi-node clusters. Moving forward, I will explain all these concepts in SAP HANA. What is single node cluster, what is SAP HANA multi-node clusters, multi-node cluster appliances available from which vendors, okay, all these concepts I will explain. Okay, host name. Host name means HANA IMCE name. For example, this is support pack 6. The host support name is HANA SP6. And the instance number is 06. So if you want to give any description, you can give the description, and the language required is United States English. Click on next. Now I'm adding this system in a specific folder. What is the name of the folder, my friends? HANA SP6. So if you see in the navigator view, I already created this folder, but adding a system under the folder is not mandatory. Without creating the folder also, we can directly add the system. Very good. So most of the times the administrator will add. Okay, sometimes if the system is available, you can also add the system. It's not a big deal. It's a very simple procedure to add the system to navigator view. Click on next. So in order to add system to SAP HANA Studio, we need to know, okay, what is the corresponding database user in SAP HANA, whether it is external user or internal user. We'll talk about what is external user and internal user. You need to have one user using which you are going to work. So moving forward in coming classes, in future classes, so we will discuss how to create the users, okay, and how we can practice using our own users instead of using system. Here I am using a user system, but you can create your own users and you can add the system using your users. Then I will show you that one. Now, if you want to see all the information about this IMC, place the cursor on IMC, click on administration. So you can see all the information about this IMC. The information in different tabs: overview tab, landscape tab, alerts tab, performance tab, volumes tab, configuration tab, system information, diagnosis files, trace files. Well, I will walk through the tab, each tab by tab, but at this point of time, I cannot go in detail of each and every tab because this is only our second session. As we move on, okay, when the time comes, okay, I will be explaining more about some of these tabs, okay, which are required for administrator, which are required for, okay, HANA developers, okay, HANA molders also. Okay, I want to add one more system. Now I want to find out what is the version of this HANA, whether it's HANA 1.0 with support pack 6, HANA 1.0 with support pack 7. Place the cursor, click on admin tab, where you can find all the relevant information about HANA IMCE. In Overview tab, now you can see HANA 1.0 6. This is HANA 1.0 with Service Pack 6. Help about SAP HANA Studio. Here also you can see the version. And the build. Okay. Well, once you added the systems, here I added two systems. One is HANA Support Pack 6, second one is HANA Support Pack 7. Okay. For example, I want to work with, I'm a HANA modeler, okay, or HANA data provisioning consultant. I want to work with HANA Support Pack 7 system. Once you are in HANA modeler perspective, this is called Quick Launch. I will explain what is Quick Launch. In the Quick Launch, on right hand side, there is a tab, Select System. Once you click on Select System, here there are two systems. Now it's confusing me. The same HDB system. In that case, in order to avoid the confusion, while adding, you can give appropriate description here. Now you can see we have clear identification. So once you added the system to the navigator view, just I will explain how to find the corresponding information about SAP HANA IMC. So what are the different tabs in administration area? Well, this information is more relevant, more required for HANA administrators. At the same time, as a HANA developer, okay, as a HANA modeler, if you have this some administration information, it's well and good. Okay. As I explained, I cannot explain each and every tab today itself because it requires so many other prerequisites to understand, so many other concepts to understand before understanding those concepts. Just I quickly walk through all these tabs. Okay, so in order to find corresponding information about this IMC, just select this IMC, click on Administration tab. Once you are in Administration tab, whenever you are opening any tab, see, you can see this tab, one more tab is opened here. See, so I am in HANA Modeler tab. In HANA Modeler tab, you will see this Quick Launch. Now, I open one more tab here. So one more screen, you can say, the administration screen. Suppose if I open one more SQL console. So you can see one more SQL console. This is a very user-friendly environment, SAP HANA Studio. Okay. In the overview tab, in general information, so you will find, okay, start date, okay, start time of first started services, then version, build, platform. So in which platform this IMC is installed, up and running. Okay, the platform means the OS it supports only is SUSE Linux. Enterprise edition, okay, 11.2. So this is a Linux kernel version, other hardware information. Okay, what is the database used memory, peak used memory, allocation limit, resident memory, what is CPU usage, what is data volume, log volume, trace volume. I will explain very clearly in HANA architecture. So what is data volume, what is log volume, what type of data is stored in data volume, what type of data is stored in log volume, why we require these volumes, data volume and log volume. So we need a detailed discussion on this that will be covered under architecture part. Okay, here you can see the alerts. So what are these alerts? Here the alerts with three categories: alerts with medium, alerts with low priority, alerts with high priority. So these alerts are very helpful for HANA administrators in order to take timely action for smooth up and running of this in-memory database. Suppose as administrator, so I have one alert. There is one alert with high priority. Okay, these are the alerts with high priority. So I can read, okay, what's going on, and I can take appropriate actions in order to, okay, avoid any other inconsistencies. In the same way, there are some alerts with medium priority as well as low priority. So these alerts are very helpful for administrators to take the timely action for this HANA in-memory database for smooth up and running of this database. Landscape. The landscape is very, very important. What is landscape? In landscape, it specifies all the main services in SAP HANA IMC. This is HANA IMC. In SAP HANA IMC, there are different services. You can look at these services: compiler server, daemon, index server, name server, preprocessor, stat server, statistic server, and access engine. So there are different services. So we'll see what are these services and what is the purpose and functionality of these services. Among these services, my friends, very important service is index server. This is very important. HANA architecture in the sense, the architecture of index server. So why the index server is very important? Okay, so in IMC, main services is index server, because in IMC the index server holds all the data and it executes all the operations. So the IMC is responsible for holding and execution, holding the complete data and for execution. See, if you look at this, again, a single host configuration, we'll see what is multi-node cluster configuration also. In HANA IMC, there are, in HANA database, in HANA appliance, main component is IMC, which is heart of SAP HANA. Now, in SAP HANA database, there are different services. Among these services, very important service is index server. Why index server is very important? Holds complete data. Whatever the data we are storing in SAP HANA in-memory database, the complete data Okay, index server holds the complete data and it executes all operations. Again, we'll see in the architecture what is the architecture of only index server. What are the different components, how it stores the data, how it executes all the operations, okay, how it executes planning functions, how it executes stored procedures, how it executes SQL commands, okay, DDL, DML, everything we'll see. The reason why index server, among these services, index server is very important is because index server holds the complete data, it executes all the operations. Apart from the index server, we do have other services, but among all these services, which is very, very important, index server. Other services like preprocessor. What exactly preprocessor does? The preprocessor for unstructured data. We'll see what is preprocessor also. Name server. So the name server will maintain the landscape information. And statistics server. The statistics server collects the performance data about SAP HANA. This statistics on top of SAP HANA is very useful for administrators to take timely actions. So like this, in the index server, very good. Yes, we have all these facilities. Alerts can be texted or emailed to our admins. Okay, we can have the triggers. All these things, all these concepts are possible. Yes, what type of system tables we can use, I will explain. Okay, so in which table you will find the alerts, in which table you will find all other information also, I will explain. So in the landscape, you will find what are the different services which are available in IMC. Now you can see one of the important services, index server. Next, alerts. As I explained, alerts are very, very important. You can see the complete alert summary here. So you can see the alerts priority also. Alerts, there is one alert with high priority. There are one alert with medium priority, and there is one more, two alerts with low priority. So you can see the complete alert, okay, more occurrence for this alert, and this is the important information for DBS, okay, HANA DBS for administrative purpose of this database. Performance. In the performance tab, so you can see the sessions, how many sessions are connected, block transactions, SQL plan cache, expensive statement trace, job processes, load. Okay, as a DBA, I want to know what are the statements that are executed by different application users, different users from the different client tools or from different application layers, which are very, very expensive. SQL plan cache. So what are the block transactions? Okay, how many sessions are connected? What are the threads which are working at this point of time? So index server, how many connections? Connection ID. So index server, statistics server. See for which service, how many threads running on. You can find all this database information, all this administration information. Volumes. Volumes. What is this volume? Why we require this volume? But at this point of time, it's very difficult to explain the complete volume concept. So we'll explain the volume concept in architecture of SAP HANA in persistence layer. In SAP HANA IMC, there are the services like index server, name server, statistics server. Okay, these services will hold the data. Among these services, the service which holds complete data, the data which we are storing, okay, in SAP HANA, index server. Well, the name server will hold only name data, sorry, landscape information. Statistics data is statistics generated on top of SAP HANA, though it's a data. What are the services in HANA IMC that holds the data? Every service is associated with two volumes. One is log volume, second one is data volume. Okay, why we require this volume concept? What exactly this concept? As we discussed before also in the yesterday session, as long as the data resides, yes, very good. As long as the data resides, I'm not going technical in detail, just a overview. So technically in detail, what is log, what type of data is stored in log volume, what type of data stored in data volume, how it will be inserted. We'll see in the persistence layer that comes under HANA architecture sessions. As long as the data resides in SAP HANA, what is SAP HANA? The primary persistence of the data in SAP HANA is main memory, RAM. So what is RAM, my friends? RAM is a volatile. RAM is a volatile. It's a flash memory. In case of power outage, in case of any system reboot, in case of any other interruption, the complete data can be erased from RAM. Then how to implement the data safety? In SAP HANA, there is a component called persistence layer. In index server, this component, in index server, we can look at this. In index server, there is a component called persistence layer. This is the index server architecture. In every server, which holds the data, we'll have this persistence layer. So what exactly the persistence layer does? The persistence layer on periodic basis, those are called save points. Okay, the save points you can set for 5 minutes, 2 minutes. The save point is customizable. On regular intervals, those are nothing but save points. The data will be inserted from persistence layer to from SAP HANA to disk storage. So in case of power outage, in case of system reboots, once the complete data is erased from SAP HANA, how we are going to get back the data? Because in SAP HANA, always the primary persistence of the data is RAM, in main memory. So in case of, in order to avoid, this type of, in order to handle this type of situations and circumstances, we require the storage of data in a volatile, in a non-volatile media like disk storage. So why we are storing the data in disk storage, my friends? Only to recover the data in case of power outage, in case of system reboot. Not for, the data is not available from disk storage for the reporting, no. So the data, the primary persistence of the data in SAP HANA is RAM only. But RAM is a volatile, it's a flash memory. In case of power outage, in case of system reboot, the complete data can be erased from RAM. So in that case, how to get back the data to RAM? Again, to provide the data for reporting, to provide the data for other calculations. So we need a storage in non-volatile media like disk storage. Disk storage, there are two types of disk storage. One is log volume, second one is data volume. This is the disk storage. Complete is disk storage. Now you can see the path of, now in the overview tab itself, you can see what is the data volume size, total disk usage in the data volume, the log volume size, see this is the disk storage path. Well, if you take index server, this is the data volume, these are log volume. So you can see the total size is 19 this much, used size for data volume. Log volume is very less. So in data volume, we will store the redo log and undo log data, and log volume only the changes which are made to the historical data. Only the changes which are made to the historical data. Anyways, so we will be having very detailed discussion on this in the coming sessions. Now in the volumes, so among these services, if you go to the landscape, there are different services. Among these services, what are the services that hold the data? Maybe it's a minimum amount of data also. Maybe it's minimum amount of data. Like name server holds very minimum amount of data. Statistics server holds very minimum amount of data. So whatever the service which holds the data, for that service we need redo log and data volume and log volume. But of course, the size wise, index server is okay. You can see what is the index server, total volume and data volume is very high. But for other servers, it's very less. But though these servers hold very minimum amount of data, in case of power outage, in case of system reboot, because the complete services resides in the main memory. This is the architecture of in IMC. So these components, these services exist in IMC. So how to get back the data again from non-persistent media like disk storage. So in the overview, you can see this is a disk storage. So we are storing the data from SAP HANA on periodic basis. Those are called save points to disk storage. The purpose of storing the data in the disk storage, we are not going to retrieve the data from the disk for the reporting for calculations. No, the primary persistence of the data is in SAP HANA in main memory only. But main memory is a volatile. It's a flash memory. In case of power outage, in case of system reboot, the complete data can be erased from this main memory. So we need the data in a non-volatile media like storage. So whenever this type of in order to handle this type of situation, so that we can get back the data, we can again read the data from. So in a system reboot, we can again read the data from this storage to SAP HANA, so that the primary persistence of the data is in main memory, and we can use the data from main memory for in-memory analytics as well as for in-memory calculations. So moving on to configuration. So configuration, you'll find so many INI files, initialization files. So what is this configuration? So if you look at this diagram, HANA as appliance. So we have different components in SAP HANA appliance. Okay, as a HANA database will configure SLT. Okay, for HANA database will configure ETL based replication, a ETL tool called Business Object Data Services. So we can use HANA database for BW 7.3. See, these many external applications can connect to your SAP HANA database. So many: SAP HANA Studio, SAP HANA Solution Manager, OSS support, direct extractor connection, SAP Landscape and Visualization Manager tool, HANA Information Composer, see different tools. So whenever a tool is connecting to SAP HANA database, for that tool, if there are any parameter settings, if any parameters we have to initialize, if there are any settings has to be done in order to work with the tool. For example, we have our integration with SAP HANA. So if you are using some XML services, we need some settings to be done, some configurations to be done in the Access engine. In that case, the HANA administrator will come. So you can see the attributes INI, compiler INI, Access engine INI, script server INI, global INI, filter INI. We can set these parameters, yes or no. So sometimes we require domains, passwords, whatever some of the settings required, so that the tool can flexibly work with connect to this HANA database to work with HANA database. System information. So system information tab is very, very important for administrators. Why the system information tab is very important is, in the system information, you will find a set of tables. And from these tables, the administrators can get so much of HANA DB information. Example, sessions. There is a column-based table called session. So what exactly this table stores, what type of information this table stores, shows the detail about sessions and their resource consumption. How many sessions? Okay, see HANA host, HANA SP7 server port. Okay, now block transactions. We don't have any block transactions. This is a column-based table. Backup catalog. How many times we took the backup? What is the complete backup catalog? Log waiting history. Record logs. Overall workload. Open transactions. See? Multi-version concurrency control. So I will explain what is MVCC, multi-version concurrency controls. Used memory by tables. In SAP HANA DB, each table how much memory is using. So all the system information is stored in the form of column-based tables. And the administrator can use any one of these tables in order to get corresponding system information, corresponding HANA IIT information. It's taking a long time. I will cancel this. So table logs, transactions, sessions, schema size of loaded tables, merge statistics. So you can see all. Database information. Click on this database information. Basic information about the database. Maybe this database is shutting down, I guess. See, this HANA support pack 7, it's the database is shutting down. That is the reason it's hanging up. Okay. So in other two tabs, maybe administrator started the backup. Maybe for some reason it's shutting down or it's restarting. Okay. Other two tabs includes SQL trace and diagnosis files. down. The server database is down. Yes, it started. Okay, maybe he's restarting this one. That means. So all these are the tables. See, what is database information? Database name is HDB, HANA database. What is the host name? HANA SP6. This is the start time. This is the version 1.6, HANA 1.0 with service pack 6. Diagnosis files. So whenever we are taking the backup, okay, it generates so many, okay, trace files, okay, as well as diagnosis files. So these files are very helpful for the administrators to diagnose the problem. We'll look into these diagnosis files also in backup and recovery. Trace configuration is very important. In SAP HANA, we can activate different types of traces. What exactly a trace? Suppose we have a SQL trace. It is already activated. What is SQL trace? What it does? If the SQL trace is active, the database calls from the specific database or application users are traced. The trace data is stored in a file starting with SQL trace _ server name. So if this is active, what type of, okay, whatever the applications, okay, or the client tools running the SQL statement, the trace is stored in a, the SQL trace is active, the database calls from the specific database or application users are traced, so that we can identify which are very expensive SQL statements. Okay, accordingly we can take the actions. Performance trace. If the performance trace is running, the system performance is traced. The data is saved in a file specified. Expensive statement trace. If the statement is, if this trace is active, what type of information we can trace is, if the expensive statement trace is active, all the statements that last longer than the specified threshold are traced. So my threshold time is, for example, 5 minutes. A statement is running more than 5 minutes, then I will consider that statement as an expensive statement. So by activating this expensive statement trace, I can find out all those statements which are very expensive, which are exceeding the threshold value. So user specific trace. If the user trace is specified, the trace for the trace components for a specific database or application are written to the name. So index server, name server. Like this, there are different traces here, like database trace, SQL trace, performance trace, expensive statement trace. So you can activate the trace as per your, okay, requirements of a business. It doesn't mean you have to activate all unnecessarily. Okay, as per your administration activities, what type of trace you require, so that you can, with the help of those trace, you can find out some information so that we can manage. Okay, we can maintain this database in a smoothly. Okay, very okay, without causing any problems. In that case, you can, whatever the traces you require to activate, you can activate those traces only for smooth up and running of this database. See, some of them are inactive, some of them are active. See, because we did not activate all. So in coming classes, I will show you how to activate these traces also, and how to find out this information in which file. So how to understand that information also I will explain, so that will be very helpful. So like this, the different tabs in HANA IMC provides different types of information which is required for administrator. So whatever the administrator available, whatever the information is available in administration tab, it's more for HANA administrators. Well, you as a developer, okay, as a HANA modeler, okay, you require some information, maybe not all. Okay, whatever the information you require, you can find the information from corresponding tabs. Okay, so far what we discussed, just I will quickly recap. What is SAP HANA Studio, my friends? Suppose a client is implementing HANA project. In this HANA project, there are different team members who are responsible for specific activities. So they require a client tool using which they can connect to SAP HANA IMC in order to perform their corresponding activities, their corresponding role and responsibilities. As per their role, in order to perform their responsibilities, they need a client tool, so that using this client tool, they can connect to SAP HANA IMC, in-memory database. In any edition of SAP HANA, like SAP HANA Enterprise Edition, SAP HANA Platform Edition, SAP HANA Extended Enterprise Edition, you can see after SAP HANA IMC, the very important component is SAP HANA Studio. So what is this SAP HANA Studio is? The SAP HANA Studio is a client application based on Java Eclipse. It's a Java Eclipse based application using which we can connect to SAP HANA IMC in various prospects. So this is a welcome screen of SAP HANA Studio. Then from welcome screen, you can select one of the perspective in which you want to launch this SAP HANA Studio. You can launch SAP HANA Studio in various perspectives like admin, okay, modeler, development, and lifecycle management. So what exactly? Yeah. So we'll discuss what are the tabs which are more related to developers. Just now, okay, I explained, okay, all the tabs. As we move on, suppose we are dealing with some modeling activities. Then I will explain what type of information may be required from administration tab for modeling. So you are doing data provisioning activities. We are learning users and some admin concepts. Okay. Then as we move on, I will explain. So what type of information from this tab as a modeler, okay, as a reporting consultant you require. So you can open SAP HANA Studio in various prospects. So click on a specific prospect in which prospect you want to open. Or you can switch from one prospective to another prospect from here also. So modeler, administration console, documentation. So once you launch in any one of these prospective, for example in admin prospective, so this is called navigator view. So what exactly navigator view, my friends? So navigator view is an area where you can add IMCs to this SAP HANA Studio. IMCs means HANA in-memory database servers, okay, in-memory computing engine servers. You can add in appropriate folders if you have more than one, or you can directly add by right-clicking on this specific navigator view. Right-click, add the system. Okay. Then if you want to add in appropriate folder, first you can create a new folder. Then under this folder, add the system. Once the system is added, you want to find out some of the details about the system, like what is the version of this SAP HANA, some general information. Then you can click on this administration console. Once you click on this administration console, here there are various tabs. In each tab, you will find, okay, corresponding information about this SAP HANA IMC. For example, in overview tab, you will find the general information like what is the version, what is the build, or in which platform it's installed. Well, it supports only SUSE Linux OS. Then what is the database used memory, okay, other memory related information. So disk usage related information like total data volume, okay, log volume, trace volume, current alerts, you will find the alerts also. Then landscape. In the landscape, what are the different services which are available in IMC, like compiler server, daemon, index server. Among these services, very important is index server, because index server holds the data and execute all the operations. Alerts. So whatever the alerts are there, it will show you the alerts, corresponding alerts here in this database as of now. Like there are three types of alerts. Like one is alert with high priority, medium priority, and low priority. Performance. In performance, it will list all the services, corresponding connections, threads, calling, caller, other information which is required for the administrators. as SAP HANA is, in SAP HANA, the primary persistence of the data is main memory, RAM. In case of power outage, in case of any system reboot, okay, any other interruption, the complete data can be erased because the RAM is a volatile, it's a flash memory. Then in order to handle these type of situations, we need a storage on, okay, non-volatile media like disk storage. So each service in IMC which holds the data associated with the two volumes, data volume and log volume. So data volume, where we will store the complete redo log and undo log data, and the log volume, complete the changes which are made to the historical data. We'll see more about this data volume and log volume in the architecture of SAP HANA. Among these services, you can see the server, the index server holds the actual data, and other are very little information of very low volume of data. In fact, this is not the data which is required for the reporting. This is the data which is required for administration and some other system data like statistics data, name server data. So these are data which the business data we are storing in SAP HANA, okay, for as a big data solution to optimize our BI applications, okay, as an underlying database to your BW 7.3 with Service Pack 5 or higher version, whatever it is. Configuration. In configuration, there are so many INAF files. So with SAP HANA, as I explained Pankaj already in our demo session also, this course deals with HANA as a data mart and HANA as a underlying database for BW 7.3. Sorry, BW 7.4 with Service Pack 5. So here we are learning HANA as a data mart first. What is HANA as a data mart? We load the data from different SAP and non-SAP source system using BODS 4.2, okay, information steward for data profiling, data services workbench, okay, other smart data access which are new feature in support pack 7 using SLT. Then we'll design the information models for whatever the data we loaded, modeling and reporting. So this is one stretch, means if a client is using HANA as a data mart and HANA as their solution for the big data as well as to optimize their BI application, these are the skill set you require. Apart from that, at this point of time, we can use HANA as an underlying database for BW 7.3 with Service Pack 5. Minimums, okay. Here we are teaching BW 7.4 with SAP HANA, all the concepts of BW 7.4, how BW 7.4 is powered by SAP HANA and all. Then some administration concepts like user management, security and authorizations. And these are the new features in support pack 5, support pack 6. So these are what the course covers. So we are not going in detail of EPM with SAP HANA, okay, because that's a separate course altogether. So we'll see HANA as a data mart, okay, as well as HANA as an underlying database, how BW 7.4 powered by SAP HANA with Service Pack 5. Okay. So system information. Here you will find the system information which is stored in the form of tables like used memory database, okay, transactions, table logs, diagnosis files, and trace configuration. Okay. So HANA is very vast, my friends. HANA is very vast. So first we have to decide where you can fit in SAP HANA. Suppose I am a SAP BI consultant. So my primary skill set is reporting. Now I am learning this SAP HANA so that I can apply for the jobs. If a client is using SAP HANA as underlying as a source, if they are storing their big data, okay, if they are whatever the data they have, they need the reports on top of SAP HANA. So where I need some modeling skills of SAP HANA as well as reporting skills. So I am a BW consultant. Okay, I need more information about how HANA can be used as an underlying database for BW, how BW is BW powered by SAP HANA, in-memory optimized DSOs, in-memory optimized info cubes, like this. Okay, you can you have to decide where you are targeting, what type of jobs you are targeting for SAP HANA. So as I explained, we have ABAP development with SAP HANA, there are so many other areas of SAP HANA, HANA administration side. Okay, so in this course, what we are covering? In this course, we are covering HANA as a data mart, okay, and HANA as underlying database for BW 7.4, okay, how BW 7.4 is powered by SAP HANA and all. So if someone needs complete BW HANA course, so we do have a separate 60 hours course which is complete BW 7.4 with Service Pack 5 with SAP HANA. That's a different course. Someone needs the application development using ABAP development using SAP HANA. That's a separate course. So HANA is very vast. We cannot include each and everything in one HANA course in 50 or 60 hours. We cannot deliver. So this is the course as I explained in the demo also. So in which prospect of SAP HANA will be covering in this course? HANA as a data mart, okay, data mart functions, and HANA as a underlying database for BW 7.4. Okay, so that's all for the day, folks. Now please go ahead if you guys have any questions so that we can wind up this session today. Please go ahead if you guys have any questions before winding up the session. Yes, Sagar. Yes, Sagar, you raised your hand. Mr. Sagar, you raised your hand. Yes, I unmuted you so that you can go ahead with your question. Yes, Sagar. Or you can type your question in the chat window. Either way. Well, you are a web developer. Okay. If you are a web developer, still you want to continue with your programming skills, or you want to switch from programming to functional side, like reporting side of SAP HANA, okay, modeling side of SAP HANA. Well, if you are a ABAPer, we do have ABAP development with SAP HANA, but this course is not ABAP development with SAP HANA. So we have a separate course, HANA development, ABAP development with SAP HANA. So this course covers HANA as a data mart and HANA as the underlying database for BW. At the same time, some other admin related concepts. Well, if you want to stick to ABAP, okay, you are enjoying what you are doing at this point of time, like programming and all, you want to continue same programming in HANA also, then we have ABAP development with SAP HANA. Otherwise, I don't want to do the programming anymore. Okay, I want to switch from programming to reporting side or modeling side. Okay, I want more. Okay, I want to focus more HANA as a data mart, HANA as the underlying database for BW 7.3 in other prospects of SAP HANA. Then you can enroll for this course. Yes, Ravinder. Yes, Ravinder, you raised your hand, my friend. Very good. Very good question. Look at this. I am a data warehousing background. Where do you think I should concentrate in SAP HANA? So, see, who can learn SAP HANA? First of all, who are the target audience for this course, for the course which I am conducting? First of all, consultants working in BW and trained in BW. So I am a consultant working in BW or trained in BW. I want to expand my skill set, okay, by adding BW with SAP HANA, because 20,000 customers, already 20,000 companies who are using BW, they are, most of the clients, they are, okay, migrating BW from traditional database to HANA database. So in order to work in those type of projects, what type of skill set you require? HANA with BW. So you are already a BW consultant, but you want to expand your skill set with SAP HANA. You can learn, you can enroll for this course, because we are covering not only HANA as a data mart. Second, Okay, consultants working in Bob J and trained in Bob J. If you look at SAP HANA, if a client is using HANA as a data mart, we have data provisioning, reporting. For data provisioning, we'll use one of the business objects tool, Bob J tool. What is that Bob J tool? ETL tool. This is Bob J platform, my friends. SAP Bob J. What is Bob J? Bob J is a platform. In Bob J, we have three different categories of tools. One is SAP BOBI. What is SAP BOBI? Current version is 4.1. BI, reporting tools. Okay. Second, SAP BODS. The current version is 4.2. What type of tool it is? It's also business object tool, but EIM category. EIM stands for Enterprise Information Management. The client can use this tool as a data migration tool in any data migration project, and the client can use this tool as an ETL tool in any data warehousing project. That can be SAP data warehousing or non-SAP data warehousing. Third one, SAP BOPC. It's also a business object tool. Current version is 10. Business object planning and consolidation. This is an EPM category, Enterprise Performance Management. So what exactly the tool does? The tool can be used as a planning, again for expense planning, revenue planning, and for consolidation, for legal consolidation. Like we have other EPM tools, like Hyperion EPM tools, Cognos EPM tools. It's also an EPM tool from SAP. For SAP BOPC, there are two versions. One is Microsoft version, second one is NetWeaver version. In NetWeaver version, so the backend is BW 7.3. So for this BW 7.3, if you are using HANA as underlying database, this BOP is powered by SAP HANA. So any business objects consultant working in business objects or trained in business objects, if they learn SAP HANA, it's going to be added advantage that basically it will give more weightage to your resume, okay, and it can fetch you very good billing, and it will help you to land up in very good contracts in a faster way. So consultants were working with other data warehousing tools, not only SAP BODS. Well, I am an Informatica consultant. I am a Cognos consultant. Basically, if you know one ETL tool, the remaining two ETL tools also same. If I know Informatica, Business Object Data Services, more or less same. If I know Cognos, BOBI is also almost one. If you know one reporting tool, so you are working in other data warehousing tool, you want to switch from other data warehousing tool to SAP HANA. SAP data warehousing, SAP HANA data warehousing site. See, HANA as a data mart. We can load the data, okay, modeling, reporting. HANA as a data mart, HANA as underlying database for BW. Now, you are a database consultant working with Oracle SQL Server, okay? Are you trained in Oracle SQL Server? You want to switch to your career to SAP HANA for better career prospects, okay, for better billing, whatever. So, university passed out students, okay, they want to make career in SAP HANA, like IT consultants working with different areas, provided if they need some minimum prerequisites like SQL Server, any database skills and SQL skills like this. So first of all, it depends in which area of HANA you want to focus, you want to concentrate. So whatever the course we are, okay, conducting in this, whatever the topics we are covering in this course, with those topics, okay, if you are a data warehousing consultant, you want to switch to SAP HANA, well, because you already have very good data warehousing background, you can enroll for this course. You are already a BW consultant, you are already a BOBA consultant, so you are working with other Bob J tools like this, okay. So in order to expand your skill set, okay, in order to, okay, for very better career prospects, HANA, if you learn SAP HANA, it's well and good. Yes, we'll post it today. So we'll post it today, complete, give us 5-10 minutes. So complete material will be posted. Already Rakesh is in the process. Because we have, okay, we are not yet finalized how many students are confirmed. That is the reason we did not post. Now we already have the number, so that we will post each and everything related to material. Okay. Okay, that's all for the day, folks. See you guys tomorrow. Have a good night, everyone.